Shut up and sit down.
Guys, this is Andy. Welcome to part 2 of the Stormwall video. And I'm going to get straight into it. Right, what I'm doing now is I'm starting off with a deep grey to do the white on the Swan. That is Vallejo Wolf Grey, which I've obviously kept really thin. I'm doing thin layers on this. I've decided to do this with the by hand rather than with the airbrush. I wanted to do something a little bit different to what I normally would do, and also doing it with the airbrush would have been a bit of a pain. So I made sure I got all the base colours, all the white sections based off with that colour. I then went up with a off-white to the upper reaches to get a nice simple white colour, giving me a really good place to work with. So I can highlight up to the white, because the trick to doing white isn't actually painting white, it's painting darker colours to white, sort of very light greys. That way it looks a lot better than just painting a standard white block. Once I'd got the greys down, I started moving up towards the off-whites and the white itself. Again, as always, make sure you thin your paints. This came out a lot thicker than I'd originally intended, but it wasn't as catastrophic as I was going to do some chipping effects later on. So the thickness of the paint was actually drastically reduced by simply me removing the paint itself. And this is how we start doing it. So I'll get a nice tough brush. This is an old pound shop brush, which I've dampened down, as you can tell. And I just start stippling the paint in the areas where I think that the paint would be chipped, such as the gun tracks and what have you. So you just keep on tapping away at the paintwork, and it'll slowly start to come off as you start working the water into the paint itself, right down to that chipping fluid. And so long as you're gentle and you take your time, this can be quite laborious, but I quite enjoy doing it because the effects all of a sudden start to pop out, and you get a really interesting effect when it's done right. And you just keep on just tapping away, using the stiffness of the brushes just to peel the paint layers away slowly. There's no rush, just enjoy yourself doing it. And just make sure it's in the areas what would be naturally either targeted by the enemy soldiers, or it's where it would be just general wear and tear. Now obviously I chose to do it on the white sections because you can see it a lot more vividly for the video, but I also worked the chipping on the other sections as well, making sure that some of the red areas would also be done. As before, I go back to the metal sections. I'm using the same Vallejo liquid metal silver, which goes on lovely once you get used to it. It's an unusual paint to work with because you have to use white spirit. Surgical spirit. But it goes on really smooth. Now, as before, a bit of non-oil on the silver areas. As it's such a bright silver, you need to put the non-oil over it. It really brings it down to a sort of more natural sort of colour. This is very important with the liquid metals, more so than you would normally get on an acrylic paint, as they are very, very bright. So I'm getting towards the sort of the trim areas now, and I'm using again liquid metal copper this time for the armour trims on the Stormwall's arms and undercarriage areas. I chose to use this because it's a really bright, again it's a really bright colour, but it's such a lovely shade. but I just couldn't resist to use it. I'd only had a limited experience with the liquid metals, and this is just another opportunity to play about with them, and I did enjoy using them. If you get a chance to use them, I do recommend them. They are unusual, but the smoothness of the paintwork is a thing of beauty when you get used to using them. But be sure to use an old brush, what you're only going to use the liquid metals for, because the surgical spirit could contaminate the brush itself. So you don't want to be using it for anything other than liquid metals. I apologise for this section here. Obviously, not the best editing in the world. I do try. I've only edited a couple of films now, so I'm getting better. And it's obviously going to be a work in progress. Me editing my own videos. So apologies for the large section of nothing happening. Once I've got the copper down, I've got the old Army Painter Strong Tone. Agrax is also equally good for this, and just adds a bit of definition to the metal colours itself. I also went over the Wartlock Bronze, which I used on the piston regions of the arms. And I found Wartlock Bronze a very interesting colour to use. Very difficult to highlight. I'm still working on a method to highlight it up and look the way I want it to. So now I'm varnishing it. Once you've got the chipping fluid, you need to. Once you've got the heavy chipping done, you need to varnish your paintwork soon after, because you will start to get loose flecks of paint over the model. So these need to be held down. Good solid varnish will work for that just nicely. And now I'm back to highlighting the copper regions, which I used Dwarf Bronze, which is a Vallejo colour, and I'm just using it on the upper regions, obviously where you would normally find the highlights of on any other fig, working on the position. It's a little bit trickier on a larger kit like this, as you're often having to go back to find out exactly the position of the arms and legs, etc., to make sure that everything's highlighted in the appropriate areas. Once I've done that, I got a bit of Games Workshop Lead Belcher and just touched the outer regions of the highlighted copper. Now, it's very easy to go over the top with it, so I just made sure that if I did go get a bit over the top, I just rub the touch off with my finger just to smooth it down and make it not so bright, so it's a bit more of a natural shading and a bit more of a natural highlight. Just so long as you keep an eye on what you're doing, it's very easy to fix any highlighting errors. And I've continued doing the same method throughout all the copper areas, hands, feet, and across the torso as well. It just adds that final sort of touch to the paintwork. Once that was done, I went back to the silver work and used Vallejo Oily Steel, which I did with a small dry brush, just to give all the metal work, or all the silver metal work should I say, a good gentle dry brush over the top, across all the areas, obviously focusing towards the upper reaches, and making sure that there's plenty of definition across all the armour plating. It really starts to add a lot when you start to look at the figure in there. altogether. Now I did this off, just as a pointer, I did off camera the energy coils just with Crag Blue, as I'm saving a tutorial on OSL for a later date, so I've not actually done the OSL on this video. Once I've gone over all the silver with the oily steel, I went back over the top with a very gentle dry brush, more focused towards the upper areas, with Vallejo silver. Now this is the brightest silver I had, and I wanted to just keep it very, very gentle and very much specifically on the upper sides, and also on the edges, because otherwise it just looked weird if you didn't. There we are. I'm just doing a little bit of work on the legs as well, just making sure everything's consistent with the same sort of highlighting pattern across the entirety of the silver work. Now again, another thing what I've done off camera is I've finished off the weaponry with a sort of scorching effect. Now I did that off camera as well because I wanted to save that for a video just for effect, which we're hoping you will enjoy. Anyway, that's the entirety of the video. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you see and you want to see some more, give us a big thumbs up and like and subscribe, share to your friends, and if you would be so kind as to check us out on Patreon, that would be brilliant. The videos are going to keep coming, but with any support you can give us, we're more than happy to take. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.